welcome to A Week in Watches, episode 51. My name is Blake Bettner. I'll be your host this week. This is our weekly look back at all the people, watches, and stories from the industry. Before we get into this week's episode, this one is brought to you by the Wind Up Watch Shop, which has you covered for all your watches and watch accessory needs. We'll have more on the Wind Up Watch Shop midway through the episode, so stay tuned for that. We are jumping into this week with a new watch from J.N. Shapiro. This is called the Resurgence. This is a quite striking watch made in the USA. That's right, these have a beautiful, stunning layered dials that consist of engine-turned sectors that comprise everything. There is a surprising amount of customization options here, not only on the dial side with the type of textures and colors that you can have applied to your watch, but also with the material of the case, of course, from steel to palladium white gold. Tantalum, I believe, is even an option, but also on the back side, the shapes of the bridges of the movements are even customizable. You can go with something very organic, you can go with something really geometric. Really, your imagination might be the limit here in working with J.N. Shapiro. This almost entirely is made in his own workshops in California, except for the hairsprings, the mainspring, the jewel, the crystal, and the strap. But the rest is made right in his studios there in California. Gorgeous watch overall. Comes at a cost. These start at $70,000 in steel and go to $85,000 in white gold. We have much more details on this stunning watch now live at oneandwound.com, along with all the other watches that we'll be talking about here today. All right, if $70,000, $80,000 is a little bit too much for your liking, we got something under $1,000 coming in from Mathey Tissot and Massena LAB. That's right, this is the second collaboration between these two, or the second Mathey Tissot signed Massena LAB watch, I should say. This one is called the Mergulhador. Side note, how fun is that word to say? This is Portuguese for diver, the Mergulhador. It's also written on the dial. This is a beautiful warm green, yellowish, brownish dial with red accents. It's got a 41 millimeter skin diver case and a date aperture at 3 o'clock, which gets a very small aperture over it, which lends to the kind of 70s vibe of this whole watch. Really beautiful execution here. Love this color scheme and how it all comes together. There's a little bit of a Barracuda feeling to this watch that I really enjoy. It's using an Eslita SW200, priced at $995, and it's a 99-piece limited edition. We got more photos on the site. Right now, you can go over to Massena LAB to learn more about this watch and see if there's any available to get your hands on. Just a reminder to go check out the Wind Up Watch Shop for all of your watches, watch accessories, watch storage needs. We've got all kinds of really cool stuff in there, including lots of new stuff that's coming into the store. So be sure to check out windupwatchshop.com for all of your watch and watch accessory needs. This weekend is the Monaco Grand Prix, where they race around the streets of the Principality of Monaco. Very glamorous event. As has become tradition the past couple of years, TAG Heuer is releasing a new Monaco. This is a little bit different than the ones that we've seen the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, it was the titanium gray dial. Last year, it was the new Dark Lord watch. And this year, we're getting a trio of skeletonized Monacos. These are all titanium case Monacos, 39 millimeters in diameter, of course. These employ the Heuer O2 movement, as you might expect. And of course, the dial is opened up, which gives the subdials, the square subdials at 3 o'clock and at 9 o'clock, kind of a floating feeling over the base plate of the movement. You can see the entire date window, and of course, you can read the date. You can find it down there at the bottom at 6 o'clock. Overall, these are very modern avant-garde feeling Monacos, very different from the traditional Monaco that we're used to seeing, but they kind of work, especially when you consider the lume application, which is not restricted to just the hour markers. It also kind of makes a neat Tron-like design when it's all lit up on the dial, which is really cool. I think these are around $10,000, a little bit more for a DLC titanium one. Overall, though, I like these watches, and I can get used to this yearly release of them at the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, if you want more details on the results of the Monaco Grand Prix, you can catch our next Time on Track podcast coming later this week with Ricardo and myself. All right, and next up with a bit of news from the industry, Audemars Piguet has announced after a long search their next CEO. This is Ilaria Resta. She comes with a wealth of experience from leading global brands. Really excited to see what she has in store. She'll be replacing François-Henri Benyamas. Of course, he's been there for over 30 years. I believe he'll be stepping down January 1st of 2024 and handing the reins over to Ilaria Resta, who we wish all the best. And finally, we're closing out with news from Breitling, who are releasing new AVI Copilot watches. These are based on an old design from 1953. These new releases include a re-edition of the 1964 765 AVI in 41 millimeters. This is a really cool watch. It's 14 millimeter sticks. It uses the B01 movement, but it's a mechanical hand winding version. It has a sterile dial with stick hour markers and only the 12 up at the top of the dial. This uses a Hesalite crystal as well, and there's no date on it. This really truly embraces the older feeling of these Breitling Pilot watches, and it does so in brilliant fashion. I'm really excited to see this one. I think what Breitling has been doing with their Pilot watch range over the last couple of years has been really nice. Got some beautiful designs there. Of course, some of the cases range into maybe slightly unwieldy territory, but I think the designs really hit on something, and to see them interpreted in this true 41 millimeter format, a re-edition, is amazing. Hopefully we'll have more hands-on with this watch coming soon, and until then you can see all the details on wornandwound.com. Before we go, we want to shout out our favorite comment from last week from Zane Hodges in reference to the Martin Baker Bremont that was released, who tells us the only thing he's ever been ejected from is a bar. Stick with it, hang in there, buddy. So come back every week and be sure to leave your takes. We read all the comments. We love hearing your takes on the news every week. Look out for next week, episode 52, marking 1 year of A Week in Watches.
It's your birthday, we're here to party and sing to you.
We have a special episode coming with a few of us making appearances. We'll be answering some of your questions from our Worn and Wound Plus Slack channel. If you're not there, be sure to sign up for our newsletter and get access. You can communicate with us, engage with us, heckle us, and give us comment, suggestion, whatever you fancy. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you like this, please be sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.